Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jake here, and today we got the opening cinematic for the map Origins. Now this map looks freaking amazing. I can't wait for it to launch next Tuesday, but obviously we've got the opening cinematic here.
It began long ago, on the battlefields of the Great War. Two German scientists sought to harness dark and mysterious forces buried for centuries. They believed their discoveries would assure Germany's ultimate victory. What they could never have imagined was just what else their research would unearth.
So guys, what did you think of that trailer? The opening cinematic was absolutely amazing. It's different to what we've expected from other cinematics, I suppose. Obviously the Die Rise one was different, Mob of the Dead was unique, and I suppose Buried was also telling the story better than most of the Easter eggs have, I suppose. But obviously this cinematic just shows how the characters met. That's all it shows, really. But also we're going to show a couple of things that pointed out and everything. We'll continue with that next. So this is the first time that we get to see Dr. Maxis, guys. We've never seen anything about him before. Obviously with all the Easter eggs that we've gone through, we've never seen him. Obviously there was some coding meant to be in one of the maps that showed Maxis, but I'd never believed it for a start because it looks nothing like what he actually does here. Now obviously if we actually see Maxis there, he looks like he could be very late aged, I want to say, so maybe 60s, 70s, maybe later. So he was really pushing forward for what he wanted to do and what he wanted to do in the research wise. But also we'll end up finding more about Maxis in the map maybe. Also we'll skip to the next part now. So guys, this is an element 115 rock that's obviously in the area around Origins. That's my guess, that it's going to be around Origins. Obviously, we've seen one similar to this where it was in Shinonuma. Obviously, but it weren't glowing blue, it was glowing orange. Obviously, again, it was still in water though, so it could just be the same one. Obviously, they changed the texture on it, I don't know. Maybe this is when it first landed, and obviously the Shinonuma one, they've taken Element 115 from it, I don't know. But obviously there may be an Element 115 rock around the Origins map. So now we're going to see the zombie that we saw from a screenshot. Now this was actually released yesterday, if I'm correct, and it looks like a sort of medieval sort of zombie. So does that mean once we go underground we'll see different types of zombies than we will on top of ground? So underground we're in a sort of, you know, medieval war zone, so obviously here we're actually seeing zombies that have got chain link sort of armor on, and obviously what could happen is once you're underground you're seeing them, when you're above you're seeing the sort of, you know, Nazi zombies that we're used to seeing. Could that actually be a point that once you're on one level you're seeing one type of zombie, another place you're seeing another type? That's what I think, guys. Hopefully it might be that. We'll have to wait and see what actually happens. So this is where we get to see the first of our old but new characters, I suppose. Also, we've never played as them this young, so to speak. Obviously, the first one that we get to see is Tank Dempsey. Now, obviously, he's just standing on top of the tank at the moment. And obviously he is using the new machine gun that's coming to the game. I can't remember the name of it, but it looks pretty badass. The gun looks alright. He reminds me of a character from Inglourious Basterds. I can't remember his name, just the way he acts. And we also see him holding the Remington New Model Army. Now that's quite interesting to know that that gun is coming back to this map as it was in Buried. So now we get to see the badass of Nikolai himself. Obviously Nikolai was always the drunk Russian, but obviously he seems more normal here and before he got into drinking a lot. But obviously Nikolai may be useful and prove himself to us once again. To note as well, Nikolai seems to like using the Mauser. He is using the new starting pistol here in this scene. Obviously, nice to see how the weapon will actually differ against the other weapons within the game. And now we get to see Takeo, obviously using his normal samurai sword, which he carries on him all the time. Obviously, it's his native weapon. He seems to be very skilled with the weapon, as suggested from previous maps, obviously all the way from World at War. Obviously, this is where we are introduced to Takeo. Takeo obviously is young, agile, and a very, seems to be renowned soldier, I want to say. This is where we see the four characters meet up for the first time. Obviously we end up seeing this exact scene from a point in the trailer that was released last week. Obviously we see the sort of table with the zombie on it. It was like 4 frames inside of one of the trailers, and simply what we see, but it's obviously Richtofen working on a zombie. Working out how the zombies act. So obviously he knew about the zombies before other people found them. Does that prove something, that he knew about all this all the way along and was keeping it from everyone else, so to speak, Maxis and all that lot? I find this scene interesting, guys. It's where the crew meet up with the robot, so to speak. As you see, Richtofen is already looking up at the sky where the robot is, where the other guys only look up once the actual lights on the feet turn on. Does that say that he can control the robot and he knows where it is at times? Because he's already looking up thinking, it's there, I know it is. Or does he hear it beforehand? Obviously the other guys just look and then jump out the way once it decides it is going to stomp on them. So does that mean that the robot will attack you at all times? It will try to attack you. We'll have to wait and see about that next week. It's going to be interesting to actually have this robot playing a mechanic within the game.